Hi, welcome to another edition of the Alan Rosenberg Show, and it's time for another video on Jethro Tull. And why am I doing another video when I just did one on all of their box sets, which I just did like 2 videos ago, and I've also done a video where I rank all their studio albums and I show them all, and then I once did a video on how I discovered Jethro Tull back in the mid-70s. So why am I doing that? Because every once in a while I get a comment from somebody that says they don't like Jethro Tull. And that's okay, you don't have to like Jethro Tull, but I think they don't really know Jethro Tull, because just like the greatest bands, in my opinion, like the Stones, and let's say the Beatles, and the Who, and maybe U2, all of these bands can play lots of different genres, especially the Stones, which really makes them special. But Jethro Tull is kind of like that. It always sounds like Jethro Tull, but if you like blues rock, well, they do it. You like folk rock? They really do that big time. If you like hard rock, well, they do that. If you like acoustic music that's got beautiful melodies, they do it. So Ian Anderson and Jethro Tull covers a wide gamut of music, and there's a lot to experience. You may not like all of it, but I think some of it it's impossible not to like. So I'm going to do a video on their officially released Greatest Hits compilation albums. I think I have 12 of them here. One of them doesn't really count, but I'm going to talk about it. And these are great ways to get into Tull. It's how I actually got into Tull, and that was one of my first videos. This is a great way. Go on Spotify, YouTube, whatever, and download one of their greatest hits that I'm going to show you. And this way, you'll get a good variety of their music. If you're new to my channel, please hit subscribe, please hit like, check out my other videos, check out my other Jethro Tull videos. This is now my 4th one. But let's get started. Maybe my 5th one. Their first compilation album was this classic, Living in the Past. This is the original first pressing. Can you see it right there? It actually says, not for sale. This was a promo version, promo radio version. Pretty hard to find. But Tull's always had, or a lot of times they have amazing packaging, and this one's kind of beat up. But this is not a Tull album that newbies should listen to. This is more for your more experienced Tull fans, but it's 2 vinyl albums. Great, great packaging. Really went all out on this. And this release is pretty special for the U.S. market because it was largely comprised of stuff that wasn't released in the U.S. at that time. Stuff that was released as UK singles, and an EP called Life is a Long Song. They did put 4 songs on here that were released from their previous 4 albums. This is the album they put out after Aqualung. And so you got a song from This Was, and Benefit, and Aqualung, and Stand Up. So it's an interesting compilation. Side 3 is 2 long tracks recorded live from Carnegie Hall in 1970 by kind permission of John Evans' piano piece and Dharma for One. Those are really for hardcore Tull fans. So this, again, is not something that I would recommend for somebody who's not familiar with Tull, but if you are a Tull fan, it is a pretty cool collection. I do not have it on CD. It's the only Tull album that I don't have on CD because it's kind of hard to find. To get the whole thing on the single CD, they cut out a track or 2. So that's why I don't have it. These 2 albums were the first 2, well, amongst the first 2. If one of my other videos showed you how I discovered Tull was the Aqualung album, and then I got these 2, and then I got Songs from the Wood. And these 2 were their first greatest hits albums. This one is called MU. You can't really see it. It's like a white cover. But it says MU, the best of Jethro Tull. There it is. And this was a tremendous collection. It still is. For somebody who doesn't know Tull, this is a great entry point for sure. It's still out there if you look hard enough. It's been superseded by more concise, wider, collections. This is Tull through 75, actually, 68 through 75. But I do like they took a bit of Thick as a Brick. They even did an extract from Passion Play. And it's got an unreleased track called Rainbow Blues, which is one of my favorite Tull albums. But, of course, it's got, Bungle and Jungle and Teacher and Living in the Past, Skating Away. Great, great collection. And it's short. It's like 45 minutes because this was a vinyl release. This was the one that came out in '77, and it's got an extra year of tracks on it. Volume 2, repeat, and you get Minstrel in the Gallery. Interesting, because this was the first time I ever heard Minstrel in the Gallery, and Minstrel in the Gallery is a long track. Here, they start with the rockin' part, so it's not complete. Cross-Eyed Mary, another great collection, another extract from Thick as a Brick and Passion Play. It's got Too Old to Rock and Roll, Too Young to Die, and an extra track called Glory Row. These two are really great ways to get into that early Tull. This is Tull through 1976, before Songs from the Wood, which, if you know me, is my favorite Tull album. They later on put out this collection called Original Masters, which is a single CD. It's not very long. It may have been on vinyl. It's only got how many? 10 tracks? 12 tracks. So it's not too long, but it's kind of a combination of two that I just showed you, but it does have Witch's Promise, which is not on that, Life's a Long Song. So this is another excellent, excellent collection. I mean, if you play this and you don't like anything on here, then you're not going to like Jethro Tull. This is a favorite of mine. This was a distillation of this great Jethro Tull 20 Years box set, which is in my previous video. And this is a really cool collection. This is more for somebody who really likes Tull, because it's got radio stuff. It's got 4 songs of Central Tull. It's got some dusted down floor gems. Jacqueline is amazing. You know, Crossword Overhang, Lick Your Fingers Clean, great. The Other Side of Tull, Don Ringo, Life's a Long Song, Wondering Aloud, Part of the Machine. This is great. I even think a newbie could really get into this collection. This is just shows you all different sides of Tull, and this is one of my favorite Tull albums. And the Tull box, the 20 Years of Jethro Tull, which is a 3 CD box, which is where this comes from, is still one of my favorite box sets of all time. 5 years later, they put out their first double CD best of, called the Anniversary Collection. This is awesome. Now you're getting a full, much deeper look at the history of Tull right there. Really going deeper. Now, these introductory single discs are probably an easier listen, but if you want to experience a lot more Tull without getting their albums, this is just great. I mean, you get things like From Songs from the Wood right there, Jack and the Green, Heavy Horses, Don Ringo, Jacqueline's amazing, Pussy Willow is one of my favorites, Broadsword. This is a great, great collection for sure. But this came out a long time ago also, so this stuff has been since superseded. One of my favorite aspects of Jethro Tull has always been their acoustic stuff, and they came out with a best of Jethro Tull Acoustic. I actually thought I was going to love this to death, and I do really like it, but surprisingly I don't go to it all that much. And I love Tull Acoustic, but again, you get Life is a Long Song, Cheap Day Return, Mother Goose, Wondering Aloud, Thick as a Brick intro. This, the track listing's really good. Jack and the Green, Velvet Green, Don Ringo, Jacqueline, Broadford Bazaar is great, and you get a couple of Ian Anderson solo right there, The Word Carrier, Rupees Dance, One Brown Mouse, a new version of it. Yeah, this is really good. I don't play it that often for some reason, but this is a really good collection of acoustic Tull, because that's a great part of Jethro Tull. Their albums, even like Aqualung, you know, they throw in a couple of acoustic ditties, and it just breaks up the pace and adds this great variety. This is an interesting cheapo 36-track 3 CD set, but I really enjoyed this one. It's kind of like these EMI Capital Special Markets type CDs, but it's got great stuff on there. Hymn 43 from Aqualung, Glory Row again on here, Rock Island. You know, they go a little bit deeper. Rainbow Blues, Requiem's a beautiful song. Karnak is amazing. You know, whoever came up with the track listing on these 36 songs, they did a great job. The Whistler's one of my favorite. I'm Your Gun, Crossword, Under Wraps, Black Sunday. This is cool. I don't see this around too often, but this is a good collection for sure. Now, Nightcap, I'm not really going to include, because Nightcap is really not a compilation. This is one of my all-time favorite Tull albums. A lot of people consider it a compilation, but you shouldn't. Disc 1 is the Chateau Disaster tapes with re-edits on them, and he added things to them. It's awesome, but it's new stuff, really. And then the disc 2 is all unreleased tracks, that was left off of albums that have since been added onto like deluxe editions. But you get them all on this disc here, and this is one of my favorite Tull albums, but this is really not a compilation. But there are people who said this is a compilation. Not to me. It's a compilation of unreleased tracks, which to me makes it a new album. What else? There are some other ones. This is an interesting one called Jethro Tull Through the Years. Again, this is one of those like special market ones. It's a British one. But also, they kind of went deep on it, as you can see. The title, War Child is really cool. Acres Wild's a cool deep track. Budapest is from Crest of a Knave, which is when they won the Grammy. And I was backing the fact that they deserved to win the Grammy because Budapest is one of the most incredible pieces of music by any band ever. It's a highlight of Jethro Tull's career, and great to have it on here. The Whistler's also a favorite from Songs from the Wood. Rare and Precious Chain goes deep, with that's a great record that it comes from. This just Still Loving You Tonight. It's a good bluesy track. Beastie. An interesting collection, definitely deeper and more for the established fan. They did put out a single disc called The Very Best of Jethro Tull, and the problem with this one's loaded. It's got 20 songs. But to fit 20 songs on a single disc of Jethro Tull track, they heavily edited them. So for somebody who doesn't know Tull and they want to get, a taste of it, yeah, this is really, really good. But for somebody who really knows Tull, it becomes annoying because like Heavy Horses is a masterpiece, and here it's cut down to 3 minutes and 29 seconds, which is, to me, an abomination. And that's what they do. You got like Roots to Branches, which is the album that I was just mentioning before. And that's nice. It's a good selection. Minstrel in the Gallery is the same short version from MU, or was it from Repeat? It's an interesting collection for sure. But again, as a big fan, I prefer the full versions. You really want to go into it. Well, this one's fairly recent. This is called Jethro Tull 50 for 50, and this was their 50th anniversary. And right here, 3 discs, 50 tracks. And they did a beautiful job on this one. You can just see, look at this track selection. You get a great mixture of, acoustic and blues. Critique Go Bleak from Passion Play right there. Stephen Wilson remix. Weathercock, Cross-Eyed Mary, Dun Ringo. Yeah, this is just Pussy Willow. Love that song. The Whistler, phenomenal. Moths. One of my favorite tracks, and you never see Moths anywhere, was a long-lost single from Heavy Horses, and they stuck it on here. It deserves it. Couple Wonder, Ring Out Solstice Blows. This is a tremendous, great, compilation. Even that title track from .com, love that one. So this is the epitome. But this is a lot to take in. So, if you're a newbie, I'd go with like MU, the best Repeat, the best of Tull. That's Tull in their prime through like 76. You can get this. This is a compilation kind of like of the both of them. You want to go a little deeper, this is excellent. You want to get a double disc that's got a great selection of tracks. You can get this one. You want to try their acoustic music, that's that. But I think you need a more well-rounded list. You really want to get a teaser, a taster. Well, you got the very best of Jethro Tull, but remember this stuff is edited, and you're really not getting the full picture on some of these tracks. You want to go for the gusto, 50 for 50. There is a lot of material here. But Jethro Tull, Ian Anderson, one of the all-time greats. They really cover all the bases, and that's why I say like certain bands. You knew that was going to happen. Some of you people out there always knock this stuff over, right? The great bands, the Stones epitomize this. The great bands, they can play all different types of genres of music, but it always comes through that prism of the band, and it sounds like it. And Jethro Tull's like that. You want to hear blues rock? You want to hear jazzy? You want to hear experimental, almost psychedelic, they touch on that. You want to hear electronic music, they touch on that. You want to hear beautiful, folky, acoustic beautiful melodies. Well, they do that big time. Some acoustic music. It's all there. Jethro Tull. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Go out and check it out. And if you don't like some of this stuff, well, yeah, then you really don't like Jethro Tull. But I figured give it another shot. Thanks for tuning in. Please hit subscribe. Help my channel to grow. Check out my other videos, my other Jethro Tull videos if you like Jethro Tull. And there'll be another one coming up in a couple of weeks when I get the new Tull album and really dig into it. I actually went to buy it today, but the record store didn't have it, so I'm going to have to get it on Amazon. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thanks for checking out the Alan Rosenberg Show, and I'll see you next time.